Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is Brad Hughesby, and today I am bringing you guys another 2023 target board video. Usually I include the commits, and usually there's a quarterback on the front side. Well, that's not the case for either of this video. Well, the commits wise, it's not going to shock you guys. All the commits are pretty much locked in. You know who they are. Of course, Notre Dame does not have a quarterback committed, as none of us would have expected. I definitely would have expected Dante Moore to be on this list this time. Last time I made this video, but he's not. And they currently have no other quarterback offers out there to kids that aren't committed or that don't have decision dates lined up, aka Avery Johnson, who will be committing July 5th, most likely to Kansas State. So let's touch on what's next at quarterback before I get into the rest of the video. Of course, you have the possibility of CJ Carr reclassifying. It's probably the most probable out of the few possibilities that I'll run down here. Maybe you offer new kids like Austin Novosad from Texas, current Baylor commit, Brock Glenn down from Alabama. He's a really talented player. Auburn and LSU are really involved there. Novosad also has an Ohio State offer. So both those Southern kids are talented. Maybe you go after Ricky Collins, a Louisiana kid. I've seen that Louisiana State might go after him, LSU. So maybe that will change his commitment that is currently set on Purdue. Those are probably the three biggest names. If they were to go after someone, maybe they try to flip someone. I don't really know. But as of right now, those are probably the three names to know at quarterback. So let's start with the running backs. Justice Haynes should not be here. That's a misprint on my part. It should be Richard Young. Both of these guys are long shots. Justice Haynes did not take an official ND. Lance Taylor, he was close with, but Lance Taylor is no longer on staff at Notre Dame. Justice Haynes is, though. Justice Haynes is just looking elsewhere, though. Now, Jeremiah Love. Jeremiah Love is definitely more likely than Richard Young. Richard Young, I think, ends up at either Oregon, Bama, or Georgia. I think Indy's probably fourth or fifth there. But Jeremiah Love, I think Indy's in a slight lead. Alabama and A&M are in this one for sure, especially A&M. I think A&M's just barely trailing Notre Dame. But if I had to put a pick in, I'd put it in for the Irish. Love Steele McCullough, Marcus Freeman, Tommy Rees. Tommy Rees built some great relationships, guys. He's really a difference maker in these offensive kids' recruitments, and I think he's putting in work right now with Jeremiah Love. Jaden Greathouse is next. I love Jaden Greathouse. Jaden Greathouse, if he signs and commits to Notre Dame, he might be my favorite player on offense. If CJ Carr doesn't reclassify, or if they don't land a guy like Richard Young, or I don't know. That's probably the most talented player left on their board, Richard Young. But Jaden Greathouse is just sensational. He plays against the toughest high school competition in the country, in Texas. Absolutely torched Peyton Bowen's team in the state championship game, Denton versus Westlake. Jaden Greathouse, though, was mostly on Ryan Yates, who is a familiar name. People will recognize him. Absolutely torched him. I think 3 touchdowns. I mean, oh my gosh. Jaden Greathouse, super stellar player. Texas is probably second. Some people are worried about the arch commitment. Would Greathouse go look at Texas? Again, I don't think so. I think this one's all ND. Rico Flores, I mean, another super talented kid. If ND could land Rico Flores and Jaden Greathouse paired Braylon James alone, they would have a nasty class. But I think they're going to get a few more kids too. But Rico Flores from Folsom, California, wants to leave, wants to see some more places around the country. He likes Ohio State a lot, but Ohio State doesn't have room. They're all full. They have 4 wideouts committed. They're going to keep it at that, and I think ND's definitely looking good here. To the rest of the offense, and then one defensive guy, Ronan Hannafin in the top left from Massachusetts. I think this one's all ND. Clemson and Bama gave it a nice push, especially Alabama. They definitely made it tight, but I think this is ND's to lose. I definitely agree with the 80% the on-3 RPM machine has for ND. Micah Tease is next. This is one of the more interesting recruitments. Was thought to be a Notre Dame lean early in the process. Oklahoma was always around, but Lincoln Riley leaves. Mike Ortiz now wants to play wide receiver. Notre Dame doesn't really know what they're going to do. I think they're going to recruit him at wide receiver, but they had been recruiting him at corner for so long. It's a little bit hard to switch over to get new guys to recruit him. I think he wants to make a summer decision, but I think he just really likes Notre Dame. He likes Notre Dame for what it is. He likes Marcus Freeman a lot. I just think he has an affinity for Notre Dame. I think he has for a long time. And if Notre Dame really pushes for him a wide receiver, I think they can land him. We'll see if they do that, but as of right now, I think they will. So I'll go out on a limb and say Andy lands him. But Arkansas, for sure, is a very real threat here. They're making him one of their top recruits of the cycle, and he likes Arkansas for sure. And then Charles Jagushaw, we've talked about this guy a ton recently. Michigan definitely made things interesting. Michigan, Joe Moore winners last year. They have a very talented offensive line, great academic school in the Midwest, but they're not Notre Dame when it comes to winning over a long span of time, long period of time. Notre Dame has been consistent for longer than Michigan. I think that will play a factor. Notre Dame has a Catholic education. I think that will play a factor here. And Notre Dame has Harry Hiestand instead of trying to think Sharon Moore. Harry Hiestand is probably one of the greatest offensive line coaches in college football history. So I don't know. I think Jagushaw ends up at ND, but Michigan has definitely made it tighter. At the end of the day, though, I think Jagushaw really likes Notre Dame. And then to start it off with defense, we'll go to Jason Moore, DeMatha Catholic standout, originally a basketball recruit. Ohio State, ND, and Penn State are definitely the top three. I think Michigan's in a distant fourth. I could see him take some swings to all those three schools in the fall. We'll see if he ends up doing that, but this recruitment is far from done, in my opinion. To the linebackers, we got Jaden Osbury and Sam Mpemba. I like Osbury to end up at ND, but schools like Auburn specifically are making a big push. They don't want to let him leave. His brother, of course, is at Auburn, so he has a big connection there. But he really, really likes Notre Dame and Marcus Freeman. We shall see what happens with his recruitment, though. Samuel Mpemba, number 3. What was that? Number 3 overall player in the country, according to Rivals. I just found that out today. That's a little high. I have Mpemba as a top 40 or 50 player, but just want to get that out there. On one side, he's a top 3 player in the country, and on another, he's ranked 103rd nationally, and that's from On3. Originally from St. Louis, Missouri, transferred to IMG in the fall. Georgia and ND are out in front. The On3 thing is right somewhat. I think I think Notre Dame and Georgia are more 50-50 at this point. Loves that Georgia just won a national championship. That's big to him. Has some great relationships with the people up there. A bunch of the IMG kids end up at Georgia, but wants to be somewhere warm. But ND, I think, just has a lot going for them. The Catholic education is really, really important for Sam Mpemba. Marcus Freeman, he loves Chad Bowden. He loves. I think ND can win this one, but it's going to be a dogfight with the Bulldogs. And then Christian Gray and Micah Bell. I think both these kids end up in the class in the next, week and a half. They're committing very, very soon. They'll be the first cornerback commit to the cycle. If they do end up committing, both of them are 5'11", 170. Two massive pickups here. Christian Gray really, really excites me. I think he can be a lockdown corner at the next level. Micah Bell as well. Speedster. This kid has a lot of speed. His brother's at Georgia. He's a wide receiver. Class of 2022. Micah Bell is an exciting player for sure. And finally, the last two. I think these two are doubtful, but I put them on here. Josiah Wagner just took an official visit to Cal. I think the Bears are in front. Wagner wants to make a July decision. I think the Bears will end up taking it. Not sure he's a take at Notre Dame. Not sure how hard Notre Dame is pushing. I don't know if Wagner is really the perfect fit for what ND's looking for at their third corner. And then Caleb Downs, Notre Dame would just love to have him. He loves Chris O'Leary and Marcus Freeman. But I'm not sure Notre Dame's going to win this one. Really, really likes Georgia and Ohio State and Alabama, what they have going on at those three schools. Jim Knowles' defense just really likes Ohio State. Loves all the production they've had over the past few years. I think he likes Columbus a lot, likes Ryan Day. So I think Ohio State's the leader. But ND's in this one. They're not out of it yet. Notre Dame would love if you would extend its recruitment into the fall, maybe take some fall official visits, maybe schools like Bama and Georgia, Ohio State stop waiting around and just take other kids. I doubt that would happen. He's a 5-star across the board, but I don't know. You never know. If you're Notre Dame, you want this one to drag out a little bit further because you're fine with Peyton Bowen and Adon Schuler, but you'd love to get downs. He'd be like the Nwankpa of last cycle. You'd be the cherry on top. So, yeah, that's my video, guys. Thank you for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment. If you have any questions about Notre Dame football recruiting, very quickly, I'll scroll back. Osbury and Pemba, Gray and Bell, Hannafin, Jagushad, Tees, and more. Rico Flores, Shannon Greathouse, Jeremiah Love, Justice Haynes. That should be Richard Young. I'm sorry. But anyways, I don't think Richard Young ends up in South Bend. But yeah, comment if you have any questions. I really try my best to answer all and